my memory is lighting, on the eve of the 6th, lighting 12 candles, about the width of a pencil, and I'd say they weren't quite a foot long, lighting 12 of them, and my mother got each of us to think of somebody who had passed on in the family and assign an identity to each candle. But also, we each had ownership of the candle, so we were remembering the dead, probably marking the 12 days of Christmas, and then whichever of us, their candle lasted the longest, we would get the gift of longevity, long life. That's my understanding of it. I know my father would probably have another meaning to it, but that's my memory and that's my understanding of why we did it.
And that was in Westmeath?
Westmeath. But they would have come from the west, so about 60 years ago now, they would have come up from Tuam, just outside Galway, as a Land Commission transfer. So it would have been a tradition from the west, because nobody locally did it. And it was just something we did. We took it for granted. It wasn't until today that you mentioned a tradition on the eve of the 6th that I just remembered it. I do it myself in my own house. And the candles they'd burn out in, 5-10 minutes. They were thin little tapers.
And they had to be tin?
Yes, because we would sit as a family. There was 9 children, my parents, and the 11 of us would just sit and watch the candles burn out. And silence, not a word. And then just fear. And there was always, I suppose, a bit of competition. Whose was going to last the longest. And then as children, you'd be fearful, I'm going to die first. But yeah, that's it. That's my memory of it.
About a week before Little Christmas, you get the cow-dung, the big one, right? And you let it dry. Put it in this turf shed or whatever, and let it dry. And you'd have these thick rushes, you know, the bulrushes we call them. Well, you get those, you get 12 of them, and you oil them. And on Little Christmas Eve at 6 o'clock, it'd be put on a sheet of paper, the cow-dung, and all the rushes would be all put around, 12 rushes, right? And they'd be lit, and everyone kneeled around the table, children, parents and all, and my mother or my father would give out the rosary for 6 o'clock in the evening. And they'd burn away, and you'd have the rosary said. Again, they'd be burned. And if one died, it was lit straight away. But they generally didn't, because they'd burn away with the oil, you know. So, that was all about Little Christmas now. And my own father was born on Little Christmas Day, so he had great faith in this. You know what I mean?